I burn the boats and I'm living in an RV. Here's why. All right, so before I tell you the whole story, if you don't know me, my name's Tony Riner. I post on here about boring businesses and other things I'm doing to try to get financially free. And in today's video, I'll walk through why I'm downsizing into a tiny little RV and why I pretty much got rid of most of my stuff and am doing everything I can to lower my burn rate. So I've been working in corporate sales ever since I graduated from college about 3 years ago. And it's been a great journey. I've pretty much started from the bottom and worked my way up to making pretty good money by the end. And in my most recent role, I started to get pretty burned out, and I noticed I was really losing the fire that I had early on in my career, especially for sales. I just felt like every single day I was working so hard and I wasn't getting the rewards in terms of the money that I would like to make. You know, I would get commission checks and it was, 3 to 10% of whatever I sold. But it seemed a little frustrating to me that I'm grinding my tail off, going out in the field, and just for 3 to 10% of the profits, I felt like I should be making a lot more. And so I got pretty burned out with it. It wasn't aligned with where I wanted to go. I didn't really like what I was selling. I didn't like the type of sales that we were doing. And so I decided, this is it. I'm done. I'm gonna work my way to getting financially free, and I'm gonna do it aggressively. And so a couple different ways I've been trying to do it is, one, posting on here. I've also have some vending machines that I own, and so my sister runs that for me now, and I just kind of collect the profits and try to scale that up as well. And so I've been doing that. And one of the other things I realized is the work that I do day to day, not fulfilling. I can make a lot of money, not aligned with where I'm trying to go. So I want to, focus on what I can learn in my job. And so I actually took a role here in my hometown of Austin, and I'm going to be doing a real estate operations leadership program to try to learn as much as I can about property management and basically how to invest in real estate. And so I've always wanted to invest in real estate. I think it's a really great form of wealth building, and so I'm trying to do that. And so I had to downsize because it's actually a step back in pay quite a bit. It's actually about half of what I make currently. And so one of the things that I had to do was try to figure out, okay, how can I take this role? How can I make this happen? And one of those things was, all right, let me move my operations down to Austin. That's how I got my sister involved in my vending machine stuff. And then, all right, next, I need to lower my living payment because right now I'm paying $1,500 for an apartment up in, DFW. Let me find a way to lower my monthly because Austin rent is insane. It's probably $1,500 to $2,000 per month for a 1-bedroom apartment. And so I decided, I'm just gonna buy an RV and live in there because with my job too, there's a lot of moving around, and so I'd like to be able to have that flexibility to move around. And I like camping, and I've lived in RVs before, not for a long-term time, just for camping and stuff. We actually used to own a Casita when I was a little kid, and so this was one that I was pretty familiar with, and so I went with this one because they keep their value really well, and I got a pretty good deal on it. And so I went ahead and picked it up, and just kind of aligned right at the right time. I think God's kind of crazy in that kind of way, because when you start to get more aligned with your calling, things start to align, and it seems a lot easier, even though you've been grinding for years maybe in the wrong direction. God's just gonna open things up when you get on the right path. And so picked this up and got a good deal, and now I'm moving it to an RV park on about 3 more days. I got all my stuff in here. If you saw in the other video, I got all my stuff moved in for the most part. I have to store it all away, but I'm gonna wait till the trailer is actually in where it's supposed to be. Right now I'm at my parents' place, so I don't want to load it up and then all my stuff get broken. So I'm gonna wait. But yeah, I'm moving it to an RV park that's pretty close to the city. $625 per month is the rent on it. I do have a loan on this, so I'm paying about $350 a month on that because I just used a line of credit on it. But that's cheaper than I could get an apartment for. It'll be, I think, total around $1,000 probably, and then you throw in maybe electricity, maybe $1,100. But at the same time, it's not just going away to rent. I'm actually paying this off at the same time, so I'm getting some equity, even though it's a depreciating asset. But casitas specifically keep their value pretty well, so while it will depreciate, it's not going to be as bad as some other RVs. And if I was renting, I would be paying probably $1,400, $1,500, and I wouldn't get to keep a trailer at the end of the day. So if I live in this thing for 2 years, I have a fully paid off trailer, and I could even pay it off sooner, to be honest with you. But that's just an example. But it also just, I don't know, it's kind of a forced savings, because if I didn't have that there, I probably wouldn't be able to save any money per month. So I don't know, it just kind of forces me to do that, because if I lived in an apartment, I just wouldn't be making enough money to cover it, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's not a you know, glamorous decision. It's not going to be a glamorous experience either. I think a lot of people try to sell you on it being glamorous. It's not going to be. I don't expect it to be. It's really just so that I can unlock some cash flow, and especially once I pay it off, you know, I can live in an RV for $600. I can turn this into a rental. I can, you know, put it on Airbnb, just put it out of some land. Because my goal is to buy you know, I don't want to live in an apartment ever again. I'm gonna live in this for a time, save some money, and then move into a duplex, start renting out one side of that while I live for free. Maybe have this out there as well and just start renting it out. So that's kind of my plan with it. It's, you know, I know I've had some doubts about it sometimes, about the decision, but I think, you know, everything happens for a reason, and so you just got to take some risks and see what happens, because I think the biggest risks I've taken have led to the biggest rewards. So this might, you know, it could backfire on me, but hey, that's what life's about. So that's why I did it. Yeah, and then, you know, if y'all are interested in more just financial tips or boring businesses, or just following along the journey, because I'm trying to help others become financially free, but at the same time I have to get financially free first. So that's what I'm doing, and just kind of documenting along the way. And so, you know, no means am I finished product, so just kind of would love if y'all would join the journey. But yeah, feel free to check out this other video right here if you're interested in more tips like this, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.